What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm hoping you're fine today evening, and I'm hoping that you're spreading the crypto word outside there with your family and friends as we are in the nice bear zones of Bitcoin. Probably points on where you can be able to do dollar cost average, a bit on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and probably your favorite altcoins. But as of now, the bear market is it might get worse, it might get better off, but at least it's giving some of us opportunities to buy cheaper, you know, for us to buy some altcoins cheaper, a little bit of BTC cheaper, and maybe also some, you know, ETH or DOT or Cardano, whichever you like. But I'm glad that currently, with the drop that you're having in the markets, it's an enjoyable moment. I'm hoping you're having a nice time with your family and friends. And let's get to business as we should. And I think Bitcoin has been acting on how I've been predicting about the markets. So I will say that's lucky. Lucky, I would say that's a lucky TA. It's been doing what I've been saying, but I think that's just a lucky technical analysis. And no one is ever 100% sure, even in terms of trading. Trading has high risks, and also the rewards are also high. So high risk, high rewards. That is on trading. And you move over to our segment. Now, the topic over here is why Bitcoin might not move further down after the CPI data comes out. Now, you have to look at some of the bearish news we've been hearing within ourselves. They are political bearish news, not economical bearish news. Boris Johnson, ex prime minister, I think it's called Abe. Who else? Biden's policies, so they are not economical issues. So since the last time the CPI data came out, we didn't have any bearish, huge macro bearish news. The current bearish news we're having is the Asian markets. So there's a new virus in China that is spreading out, a new one. I don't know which kind of virus they'll call it, maybe. I think maybe it's, as they say, Megatron virus. So there might be a new virus coming out of the market soon enough. We don't know what it may cause, maybe globally or locally, but there's a new virus in town. So if the virus is able to spread, we'll have another dump like 2020 dump where we might crash 50% down from 20K to 10K and 9K. That will be a sweet move of Bitcoin. And also that will be a sweet move on altcoins dropping further down on 40 to 50%. Now, let's begin with what we saw yesterday. If you look at the previous video, I said there's a gap to be filled over here. That was on the price of 20,372 to 19,836. If you took this short position, then remember to pay yourself. Now, since we have pumped back up where we dropped to 19,535, we've pumped back up to the price of $19,836. We are still at the support zone. Now our previous support zone is now our resistance within the 4-hour time frame, and that is $20,355. Now our new support is now at 18,983.5. Might we drop further down to the price of 18,983.5? What's happening within oil? Oil is moving down. Why? Let's open the chart and see what is happening within oil before I get to BTC. Oil decided to test its 50 exponential moving average, where it was a bit of some support and resistance. But it was able to fill this gap and have a drop below it. By that I mean we were having a support at 101, we're having at the resistance point at 104. We touched it, came back down, touched again, moved back down. Now we are at the double bottom, not the double top this time. A cap is being formed. Will we have a reversal over here within oil? Because we are having now a crisis, energy global crisis is happening in the markets. Russia are now affecting the market globally, and they're having a 40 to 35 or even 45% supply of oil globally. They'll have to stop imposing sanctions to Russia. That's just a method or way that they can be able to try to control the idea of European markets, especially the European Union, including German, US, and the rest of the European Union. They are now forfeiting the debts that they had. They are asking for some bit of some extension. If that starts happening, what happens? Okay. If European countries starts forfeiting their debts, what happens? Because you can see African countries have already forfeited their debts. Now it's including the European countries. Because now, since oil is coming back down, global crisis is happening. Energy global crisis is happening. Now, if we move further down, people are even not moving over to oil. By oil, I mean gold. Gold is now at the price of 1,727. With gold, it's a safe haven against inflation. That's 100% guarantee. But gold doesn't move drastically down compared to what the stock does if a recession happens, or what the equities does. By equity, I mean the SP 500, the Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq. The dollar index today is dropping further down at negative 0.22. What's happening within our global economic system? There are two things over here that you have to look at. Number one, we have the idea of stocks and equities. And number two, we have the tax policies. The government normally has two options. It's either they impact the tax policies, or it's either they tax the um, stock market. Number one, if they're able to impact on policies, by policies, I will mean they'll have to increase taxes on products for them to earn more to pay off their debts. Those are some of the things that they might have to do. So that means they'll earn more from taxes compared to what they were earning before. For example, if tax of let's say flour was at 10%, if it's able to be increased to 15%, that means there'll be more earnings within the treasury, the government's treasuries. Then what happens from there? They're able to at least subsidize their debts by paying off huge amount of debt that they've been having over some amount of years. Number two, if they'll not be able to do that, they'll have to impact on the stocks. By stocks, I mean they'll have to withdraw their treasuries, they'll have to withdraw their more bonds, they'll have to withdraw their mortgages, and that will start bringing the stocks down and the equities down. So what is the government doing currently? They are now impacting on the stocks and the equities. They are no longer interested with tax policies which will make at least a majority of citizens to be upset, including Biden on what he's doing currently. So majority of people will accept if it's tax policies. And since that is happening in the market, that's how you're seeing that drastic down on stocks, drastic down on equities. All global equities and all global stock markets are coming back down effectively. Now, we move back to Bitcoin a bit. So let's have a bit discussion of Bitcoin. That's just an overview. With Bitcoin, with all along, the completion of the M formation. The completion of the M formation. Where will it complete on? Let's check. that completion might be around these zones. That will be an M formation. Then you can draw a trend line over here. That will be a completion of the M formation on Bitcoin. So why do we move further down? Why do we move further up? Let's see where this trend line is able to stop at. Is it 18 back to $18,000? Might we move back lower to 17K? Or we are still standing there? Because if I'm checking my book map, I'm seeing something different in the markets. There are still orders at $18,000 level. That means we'll have to drop drastically down, stop at that liquidity at $18,000, then drop further down. If you're moving over to the idea of a pump, then you're talking of a bit of some support at 19,403, in which I might expect maybe a pump to happen. It doesn't have to mean that you have to wait for that stop hunt at 19,403. We might wait for 18K, but Bitcoin reverses at $19,100, and that will be a completion of the W formation. Look, we have the completion of the M formation and you have the completion of the W formation. And the W formation completion is at the price of $19,000. So be careful on these zones currently. We might drop to 19K and bounce immediately. We might break that 19K and have a completion of the M formation at $18,000. So far, Bitcoin has been oversold within the 4-hour time frame. Not clearly oversold, a bit oversold, but are seeing a reversal over here from the relative strength index that it has indication that has been oversold. We are now having a reversal heading back up. But everyone is waiting for tomorrow's CPI data to see what will happen. And as I've said, there hasn't been much bearish news in the market, but the bearish news in the market that has been there is China's new COVID variant. If it's able to spread, we might drop another 50% down, maybe 30% or maybe even 10%. Or maybe this might have been the bottom. We pump from there. Maybe 19K is the bottom. From here, we pump back up. No one knows what's going to happen. So let's do the Bitcoin analysis chart. I'm going to look at Bitcoin on all time frames before I move on to anything else. Same thing as usual, ladies and gentlemen, same thing as usual. We are looking at the exponential moving average. You're looking at the overselling structure, not the overbought structure, but overselling structure. So first of all, let me remove all the drawings. So first of all, you can see Bitcoin needs to have that reaches to the 50 exponential moving average at the price of $20,302. So we might have that further drop down to $19,100 over here to $19,000 over here, and then another further drop to $19,587 within the 4-hour time frame. So we had that bounce from that support level of 19,597. Are we moving sideways? Because there's an indication that there's a bullish trend line happening within the 1-hour time frame. Where will it collapse at? Okay, where will it collapse at? Why do you have that bounce over here? Bounce, pump, bounce, pump within the 1-hour time frame, but it looks bullish within the 1-hour time frame. So we are seeing it seems that we might have a reversal over here within the 1-hour time frame. That's one thing to check out. We might have a reversal within the 1-hour time frame. Then, number two, on what we are looking at places that it can fill gap. So there's a gap that can be filled over here. There's a gap that can be filled over here. Same thing, same structure as usual. There's a gap that can be filled from $19,000 to $19,602. If this gap is able to be filled, then we might pump back up immediately. That is if the gap is able to be filled. If not, it doesn't have to mean that we'll have to drop to that level. We might continue moving back up. It doesn't have to mean that we'll fall to that level of $19,000 or $19,587. We might just start pumping back up immediately. So levels to look at: 18,974 within the 1-hour time frame, to 19,507. If it's able to fill this gap, you will see some sideways movement over here and then a pump over here in the markets, or a bit sideways over here and then a dump in the market. Done. Next up, the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame is now the largest factor because it has been seriously oversold within the 4-hour time frame, but a bit of some reversal over here within the 4-hour time frame isn't that bad to look at in the markets. That is on Bitcoin. So first of all, I am looking at this major zone, $19,000. Next up, $18,000. So myself, if Bitcoin is able to drop to the price of $19,100, not bad. $18,100, not bad. Those are targets that I'm looking at if I'm going short. But I'm seeing a reversal on the upside on the market. Why? There are two green vector candles that are pumping back up, but there's a large vector candle appearing over here. Is that a rejection? Where that is now another resistance that was here at 19,869. Are we seeing that rejection? Because now this was the previous support. Now it's now the resistance. We are having a resistance over here. Might it drop to $19,000 or 9,100, or have another further drop down to $18,100? Now, target to be filled. If this gap is able to be filled over here in Bitcoin, then if it reverses back up, we might pump hard from here, especially for altcoins. I won't mention them, but especially for altcoins. There are some specific altcoins that are having nice volume that will pump significantly up if this dump finishes over here on Bitcoin, up to the price of $19,100. Next up, we are looking at the 1-day time. There's nothing always to look at Bitcoin. The 1-day time frame, it's kind of been oversold in the 1-day time frame. So the 1-hour time frame and the 4-hour time frame is good to look at Bitcoin, but you can see that red vector candle is beginning to appear. It might engulf the previous green vector candle. If you're having a good retest over here or another continuation dump, then if Bitcoin is able to test the $20,100 level, I'll be a bit bullish on Bitcoin. Just on the $20,100 level is the target that I'm looking at. If it's able to reverse, if it's able to break the $20,100 level, then I'll be bullish on Bitcoin on the shorter time frame. So we might have that fill up of a gap again back above 21,738 is a target for me to look at to be bullish on Bitcoin. Just above $21,738 to $21,800 is a target that I'm looking at. If able to pump above that, then I'll be bullish on Bitcoin. Next up is Ethereum. Look at the gap that is able to fill that I showed yesterday. Look at the previous video. It was able to fill this gap over here, and now that gap was now the previous support, which is now the resistance. The next target to look at for Ethereum is now at the target of $1,011. $1,011 is another target to look at Ethereum. So if we can have that drop from $1,076 back down to $1,011, we might have that mega bounce boost. Look, double bottom, but it will be the completion of the M formation. Okay, it might be the completion of the M formation. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? No one knows, but it might be that completion of the M formation. Worst case scenario over here is at $916 for Ethereum to arrive at, which will be a good margin to simply dollar cost average on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just a bit. These are opportunities to buy. I will just encourage you to buy, but invest what you can afford to lose, not financial advice as usual. Okay, not financial advice. So that information will complete at $916 to $900. That is Ethereum within the 1 hour time frame. Same pattern over here. We are seeing that double bottom over here with Ethereum on the relative strength index. We're also seeing another pump pattern over here. So this might be a reversal on the upside. Be careful if you're shorting. You should have paid yourself currently. With Ethereum within the 1 hour time frame, same zigzag formation as Bitcoin. Nothing to look at. Same scenario. $1,011, 1,074. If you break this level, you're looking at the price of $1,011.3 to 1,074.55. Now, the discussion that I would like to have is this. We are looking at two possible ways. Number one, if the CPI inflation data is able to come below 8.6%, and 8.6% is the expectation. If we're able to come below 8.6%, that will be bullish on Bitcoin, and we might see significant pumps on the stocks, we might see significant pumps on Bitcoin. Remember, when the CPI data comes out, it will be 1 hour to the New York session. If it's positive, we might have that huge pump within the markets. And by that huge pump, I mean a huge excitement. Yes, we have been able to control inflation. That is what retailers will be talking about. And then maybe get a bit of some rejection, then continue moving back down. Or some individuals will start saying that was the bottom. Now let's start pumping the market. It seems inflation is being tamed by the fiscal policies and the monetary policies in the market. Those are just speculations. Let's give the Fed 2 to 3 months to be able to work out their policies, not 1 month by one data that comes out within June. On the worst case scenario, if it's able to come worse above 8.6%, then that will be quite high, where you'll be seeing a significant drops in the markets. By that I mean we'll have another continuation downfall in the markets, and those are the worst case scenario in the price that I'm looking at Bitcoin. By that I'm meaning I'm looking at the worst case scenario. So I'm looking at $19,100 and a further 18,050 to $18,100. Within Ethereum, I am looking at now the worst case scenario at 1,011 or $916. Who knows? We might even have one flash coming down the markets. Who knows? No one knows. One flash down the market. No one knows, ladies and gentlemen. No one knows. You are all waiting for tomorrow. How many hours? Probably 20 hours to go for us to be able to know where we are heading on to next with the data that comes out tomorrow. But remember, we are having a bit of some spot hunt. Today in the stocks, especially the SP 500, I saw a bit of some spot hunt. Look, pumped. Where is that 4 going to complete at? As I said, where is that 4 going to complete at? We pumped from 37.28, pumped to 39.14, came back down to 38.40. Why? This is a bit of some spot hunt. Look, this is a bit of some spot hunt. Double top, you'll never learn. Double top. Retest that double top on the 3 segment Elliott wave prediction. Come back down. Where is this 4 going to complete? Is it over here, or are we going to have another one over here? Then we can have another continuation on the upside or the downside. This is a bit of some spot hunt. Okay, came back down. Now we are moving sideways. They're waiting for tomorrow. So before the data comes out, you might start seeing a pump in the markets. By that, I'm not meaning the equity market. You must start seeing a pump within the European market. Then all of a sudden, when the data is negative, we pump back down immediately. That will be a stop hunt for those long traders that want to get into the markets. For the short-term traders, by going short, that's what I mean. You might be in profits where you are being forced to close a position by going long. So don't force yourself to close a position. Wait to see what happens. Immediately the data comes out and it's negative, relax. The price will come down immediately and it will come down drastically. But if you're going short, they might do a stop hunt. You know, they're always inside information in the government before the data comes out. If you're going short, remember you're going short. Number one. Number two, you start seeing the price movement heading back down because of fear. That normally happens. Then when the news is bullish, you start seeing an upward movement. They have already did a stop hunt on you, and you want an exit liquidity, a beautiful exit liquidity for the market makers or the whales, including Binance and all the forex trading platforms that you're trading your crypto from. So tomorrow is the D-Day. I'll be doing a live session on when that happens tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. time. I'll be doing it live over here with you guys to be able to see where the liquidity will be out and what they'll be trying to do in the markets. So I'll do it 20 minutes earlier before the data comes out. Then let's look at, for example, look at the relative strength index on the SP 500. It's moving back down, but having that sideways movement where this is a pivot level. So you might have that relief bounce from here at 43. We can see over here we had that relief bounce over here. Over here also came back down, didn't move back down further down. We pounced back up. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. That bounce over here, bounce, 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 bounce. You might have that bounce. If you look at your bookmap, we are having much liquidity at the price of $19,800. Why? Still, we are having buy orders at $19,000. We are having buy orders at $18,500. We are having the largest buy order at $18,000, which is worth 535 BTC, 17,500, and the largest buying limit orders of Bitcoin at $16,000. Here it is, 16K, which is worth 602 BTC. Those are long term. Those are the limit orders that you're waiting for. But look at the liquidity that you've been able to be stagnant over here. There isn't any green vector candle in the market. That means there isn't large liquidity that is coming to the market. The retailers are not coming in as they did previously. So large green vector candles at $19,800, and then we are seeing much liquidity at between 19,700 $19,800. We must stagnate here for a while before we are able to break the liquidity at $19,800. But remember, we had around 2,000 to 1,000 BTC at $18,000. Where did they go to? Where? They are gone. It was around 500 and now it's at 535. We had around 1,200, 1,300. Where have they gone to? It seems they have been able to exit their position and they are moving much lower to 16K, where they're expecting 602 Bitcoin to be the stop hunt. Look at the liquidity up here on the sell limit orders. There isn't anything over here. Everyone is trying to go short. There are only few limit orders at 19,900 to 20K, but there isn't large selling limit order over here on the upside, but there are large limit orders over here within 19,550. That's a large limit order that's happening over there on Bitcoin. What does this mean? Tomorrow, if you're able to pump back down, we are looking at the price of 18K. We might touch 18K and get a bit of some bounce from there because that's where much of the liquidity is at. We are not break that 18K immediately. We might touch that 18K, probably touch the $17,500 level, and then pump back up a bit, and then we can move further down maybe to the $16,000 level. So liquidity is there. A lot of liquidity, especially at 16 to $17,000 level. I already talked about Bitcoin. I already talked about Ethereum on what we would expect on the best case scenario, on the worst case scenario. And I won't want to talk much about it, but those are the analysis that I've done in the markets. You can check the previous videos on also the same ideas that I'll be talking of on whether you should go long, whether you should go short. Just look at the previous video on my prediction on Bitcoin. I explained it much better on the previous video than this video. So check it out and see what happens before tomorrow. So please don't try to get wrecked if you went short. Pay yourself. Always remember to pay yourself. And we'll move on to the next segment tomorrow. I'll be doing a live session between 3 to 3:30 p.m. to be able to see what the market makers are putting in store for us to grab some exit liquidity, or we'll be able to eat the whales by paying ourselves. So take care of yourself, and we shall meet tomorrow less than 24 hours from now for us to enjoy a beautiful session. I'll also do a live trade tomorrow where I'll also be trading myself live, not showing definitely on the screen, but I'll be trading live on my phone as you'll also be speaking to see the target that I'll be looking at. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be happy to enjoy with you guys for those that will be live streaming. For that, we'll be seeing it later. We'll also talk about what happens next from there and what we need to expect. So cheers, bye bye, take care of yourself. Remember to like and subscribe and also share to your fellow crypto friends. So cheers, bye bye, and peace.